All right, guys, welcome back to the Pulse of Willie and Al. How's it going today, brother?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm house and dog sitting this week. That's why the background looks a little different. And there are two dogs. One older dog who I think is about 10, and then a puppy who's like I think like 6 months old. Both golden retrievers.
Oh man.
One of them has the vibe and energy of me, just chill, just vibing. And then there's the puppy who has puppy energy, which I do not have.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, not a young pup no more.
No,
Huh.
no. I'm here all week. They're paying me a shocking amount of money to do it,
Ah,
and there's a pool and hot tub, so I can't really complain.
that is amazing. And I mean, you're living
Yeah,
your best life right now, I think.
I am. Yeah,
Huh.
40's looking good on me.
Yeah. Well, we are back today with episode 83 for you guys. And as promised last week, what we're going to do is go through a little bit of baseball information today. And then we're going to dive into breaking down NFL content and going through the AFC East and talking about that. So before we jump in here, go ahead and make sure to smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and like the video. And we'll dive in here. So, Major League Baseball, first thing to talk about, Detroit Tigers. Yeah, I guess we got to mention them again, right?
Yeah,
First team to
dude,
50 wins. And I know the
dude, Scooble
Dodgers.
on Sunday night, man. I
What's
don't know if
that?
you watched that. Scooble on Sunday night with
Yeah.
for the Tigers. One hit, 13 strikeouts over 7 innings.
It,
Just dominant,
it's
man.
kind of crazy, too, because like he's put himself firmly in the Cy Young conversation again.
Yeah,
Where it seemed like the beginning of the year, people were like, "Oh, already counting him out with 2 losses," and he's,
yeah.
been lights out recently. So, definitely very very good to see, and that team's just chugging right along. They are. It seems like their lead just gets more and more in the central there. But the Dodgers now have joined them, and even though the Tigers hit a bit of a skid lately, I think they 5-5 over their last 10. They're rebounding and stuff, but now the Dodgers have tied them in terms of a record. So they're, I think, both at 53 and 25, 53,
Yeah.
26, something like that. So, and they've just been on a tear lately. And now the Phillies, who have just been playing lights out while the Mets has had some troubles recently.
Sure has.
The Phillies have ascended in the NL East there. So, just anything you wanted to mention about them before we jump into things here?
No, Tigers still kind of like I said. Tigers rolling along. Dodgers. It seems like by the day they just keep losing starting pitching.
Yeah.
But Shohei Ohtani threw 102 miles per hour the other night. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. Yeah, Dodgers will do Dodgers things. They'll be there in the playoffs. Yeah, yeah,
A lot of press on missed calls recently.
yeah, yeah. It seems worse than usual this year, which is kind of alarming because Angel Hernandez is gone. So like you would have thought that kind of would have alleviated the problem, but it hasn't.
Hmm.
Yeah, and just like not even like missed balls and strikes by a little bit. It's by a lot.
Yeah, some of them I saw. There was a pitch with Yamamoto where I saw that, and I'm like, ooh, that's rough.
Yeah,
That's like 6 inches outside the strike zone, and you're like, or inside the strike zone, and they're calling it a ball. So, kind of rough
yeah.
for that.
They keep talking about kind of like robot umpires for which I'll believe it when I see it, but like they are testing it out in like the minors and stuff. Like
Can you imagine them
so
arguing with a robot?
great. Like you know what's gonna happen too, like because they're still gonna have humans on the field too to like kind of like facilitate that. But I'm just like I'm picturing like an actual robot and somebody like back in the day, like Bobby Cox. Bobby Cox, great example of what would have gone wrong.
Could you imagine he'd go out there and break the robot?
He would have gotten a 30-game suspension easy. Easy. Easy.
Bobby, that cost us $20 million for that robot. He's like, yeah, well, it wasn't worth a damn cent. right? Like
Yeah,
he definitely would have killed it.
and he's done it more than once too. That's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Him and Lee Piniella. That's uh, baseball should be thankful they're not managing anymore. You know.
Very interesting. One thing I was gonna mention, you saw the issue with Marte, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
in
That's
Chicago.
really shitty.
Yep.
Yeah. Just because you buy a ticket, sure, it gives you the right to like cheer and boo whoever you want, but it doesn't give you the right to be a piece of shit. It doesn't. I'm sorry. Like it's happening more and more to athletes, and like it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I went to a game I went to a Sox game Mother's Day 2022, and Trevor Story that day, and this was the first year of Trevor Story playing with the Red Sox, and he had an abysmal start to the season. He went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, I think, or 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, and they were booing him, like actively booing him. I'm like, what are we
Yeah.
doing here, guys? Like, sure, like, am I gonna talk shit and be like, man, that sucks that you know what I mean, like that he keeps striking out and we're paying him all this money? Yeah, I'll talk a little shit, but like, I'm not gonna actively fucking boo the guy. The guy's trying, man. Like,
Yeah. It's
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I
But when
hate
we're
that
talking
stuff.
about like people's dead mothers, like
Yeah.
yeah.
He's been
We
banned from every MLB stadium, I'm pretty
sorry, go
sure
ahead.
too. I think he's been banned from every
Good.
MLB stadium. So, and the White Sox put up like a nice announcement the next day saying that they're, with Marte on this because it just I don't know. Torey Lavulo came out and really had his back, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was a really nice thing. There's just no spot for it. There's actually one guy I've seen recently that positively boost people if there's a way to do that. He's in the stands and he's like, "Yo, you park a parallel car like a pro,
Yeah, yeah.
stud."
That's
Right? Like,
the guy at the Giants games.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love those.
It's so funny. I'm seeing him do it to Detroit Tigers players, and they're laughing at it. Yet they get reactions out of the players. It's really funny. Uh,
Yeah, but there was also a guy. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was the end of. I think it was this year. It had to have been this year. Um, that came at Jared Duran and made like comments about like
yeah,
killing. It's like that's not needed. Like
yeah. It's just
we've
not.
we've really come too far as a society where like people think it's okay to say things like that.
If that's an
Honestly,
upper for you, right? Like if you need that to like socially or morally boost yourself, that's pretty sad, right? It
I
just
agree.
it's real rough. One thing I wanted to bring up was the all-star snubbing that's been going on because I feel like I keep seeing this and it's coming out a lot of players that got snubbed or they're going to get snubbed for it and like their stats are better than some of these other guys. Just kind of your opinion on it. Uh,
I I hate. Okay, here's the thing. I hate that. I get why MLB has the fan voting.
mhm.
They want the fans to be involved. I get it. I totally get it. But like, have it weigh like a third of the reason why.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can't be the whole reason how somebody gets to be a starter because it's like the fans are like. This is no offense to the casual fans, but like the casual fans aren't watching a guy like James Wood for Washington
Yeah.
absolutely tear it up this year. Like the casual fans not watching that.
Mm,
They're you know what I mean? Like guys like Otani, Aaron Judge, like Cal Raleigh, that makes sense.
yeah.
Like even the casual fan like knows, hey, they're really good this year. But like it's stuff like that where like I was reading something the other day. I mean, James Wood's the best example that I have right now.
Hmm.
It's still fresh in my brain. But the dude already has like he's hitting like 270. Dude's already got like 22 homers. Like dude's crushing it for a Washington team that's like kind of lurking around 500 and like kind of has no business being that way. Um,
Yeah.
but like a guy like Teoscar Hernandez has a million more votes than he does because he plays in LA. Like
Yeah.
and James Wood like is in the fan vote for like the final spot, but like I just like
It shouldn't be
I'm
there.
I agree. Like I think that have fan votes count for something, but it shouldn't count for 100% of something.
Right. Yeah.
Like
It's too much for that. And I get it. Like the All Star game is kind of like that, but since they've turned it into a competitive to have a
Yeah,
competitive advantage at the end of the year, it should be more of the people who really deserve to be there. It should be the
yeah,
very best players playing there, not
I agree.
not best 4 years ago, best this year.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
yeah,
kind of funny.
yeah. It's just it's bonkers to me, and I won't understand it. And like okay, I'm somebody. The thing is too is you can vote like a lot of times. I think it's like something like 10 times a day or something.
Hmm.
I okay. Here's my thing. I always vote once for the All Star game, and I take that vote weirdly seriously. Like, I voted, and that probably Shane. That no lie, each league took me like I would say 20 to 25 minutes, where I
Wow.
like sat, looked at the options as like I know my vote isn't going to really matter. Like one vote doesn't really matter, but like if I'm getting the opportunity to vote and my vote counts, I'm going to make sure that I like put some real thought and research and time and effort into what I've watched. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to be the guy that just votes all nine Boston Red Sox players. Like I'm not going to do that. Like yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's like the guy in fantasy every year who has like a fantasy football who drafts like everybody from their favorite team.
Yeah. And they're like,
It's just
weird. I don't know how I finished 0-14, but
you're like, well, I have some reasons.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I just like I said, I love that there's a fan participation. It just shouldn't count as the whole thing. That's
Right.
all.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so man, geez, I was just looking at the calendar real quick. Man, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And we'll be
Yes,
home.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir.
gonna be nice. But let's talk about some NFL stuff that we've got here, right? The biggest trade that came through was obviously Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith getting traded from the Dolphins to the Steelers for a later round pick in Minka Fitzpatrick. So I just I want to hear you out first on this because, and I didn't respond for a reason. Not that I wasn't was avoiding you or anything, but I just wanted this to sink in and kind of process what was happening with this first before I had my take on it. So I'll let you talk on it first.
All right. One, the hilarity factor that Miami uh, traded Minka Fitzpatrick to the Steelers, and now they're trading for him.
Yeah.
Uh, the irony in that, never not funny to me. Two, I'm gonna say a thing. This doesn't make the Steelers any better. Like respectfully, like I would have just kept Minka Fitzpatrick. If you're gonna keep, you know what I mean? Like I'd rather roll the dice with him. Like Jalen Ramsey, like he's all right still, but do talk shit for a guy that gets cooked a lot.
Yeah. So
Like Minka Fitzpatrick is still playing at a fairly high
yeah,
level.
very high.
Like
Very high.
high level, shuts dudes down, hard hitter too. Like he hits dudes in a way that you're like, I feel bad for that guy that just got hit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't understand the why for Pittsburgh. But Pittsburgh's already like they signed Aaron Rodgers. This feels like they think this is an all-in move, but like this doesn't make them any better. In fact, I think it kind of makes them a little worse.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So I took a tiny bit of a different take on it. So I
sure.
don't I'm not gonna say that it makes them worse losing Fitzpatrick. You can't argue that
Oh
he's a
yeah,
stud, right? Like, and it makes you a little bit nervous with the talk now coming out of Pittsburgh about JJ Watt, teams
TJ
calling
Watt,
in yeah, sorry, TJ Watt.
one of the Watts,
One
one
of
of
the
them.
Watts, right? What? All right, so TJ Watt, that the Steelers are fielding phone calls about him and taking trade offers, which I just
That's
think, yeah, I just think it's crazy. And if you want my opinion on where he could end up, you'd like my next answer. Um,
I.
he could.
You know what? I think I know what you're gonna say, but like I'm gonna play this game with you.
All right,
I'll hear you out. Where?
I think he could end up in New England, honestly. And
Don't do that to me. Don't
yeah,
do
yeah,
that
and
to me.
the reason I'm
Come
saying this is
on.
it would give Rabel that game wrecking type player that I think he really wants on the team, and
Yeah.
could be something a serious difference maker, even with the injury concerns. Serious difference maker, and I mean this is a guy every year that's in the. And I think the Steelers would be very stupid for trading him. But if you can't get a deal worked out with him, you got to figure it out. But there's guys like him, Hendrickson, that are available right now that teams are out there willing to throw a lot of cash at and draft picks to get a guy that can change the game. And TJ Watt's been a guy that's been in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation, what, the last 4 or 5 years at least?
Yeah.
Very, very good. So initially, like, just to I digress, right? So
Yeah.
initially it seemed like it was going to be real bad for the Steelers losing Minka Fitzpatrick. But this is what I will say is this isn't Arthur Smith's first time with Jonnu Smith. And when they were on the same team together in Tennessee, he utilized the tight ends a lot during that time. And what the Steelers want to do is be able to run the ball. They're getting a very athletic tight end in Jonnu Smith. Now, they already have Freiermuth, but I'd say Jonnu Smith, especially the way he played last year and showing what he was able to do towards the end of the year, I don't think there was a hotter tight end other than Brock Bowers, right? Or George Kittle.
Right.
All year they were just putting up points, but Jonnu Smith really came on in the second half of football last year, and really made himself an attractive target for quarterbacks. So I think he could be that middle difference maker that they could have to play opposite of Metcalf. Now they're not going to split him out wide. I'm not saying that, but like this guy can run and he's very athletic. In
Yeah.
regards to Jalen Ramsey, listen, like he's definitely taken a step back, I think, from the last few years where he's been. But I still think on a good defense, he can come in and really do his job. I also think that sometimes players like that that do talk a lot, teams like to go after them. And if there's weaker spots elsewhere on the defense, they have to kind of do more than they're asked to do.
Sure.
Whereas I think in Pittsburgh, he's playing for a much better defense, and I think they'll have a chance to really get after the quarterback and make his job easier. So if he turns around and gets 6 picks this year, I mean, or even 4, I mean, you got to look at this as a win for the Steelers, right? Like, I don't know. With Miami, I know what they were doing in terms of clearing their books, but losing a guy like Jonnu, he's a good playmaker for Tua that I don't understand why you would want to get rid of him. They bring Minka Fitzpatrick back, but I'm not sure them needing a safety was their biggest concern on defense. So
No.
I think if it's just to clear the books, really good job. But if not, then woof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. Well, I think the funny part was like I feel like Johnny Smith felt like a throw-in in that deal, weirdly enough. Um, like, and that's
How about
weird to
that, right? Being the guy,
say.
oh, I was the throw-in guy
Yeah,
to
like,
sweeten the pot, right? Like,
yeah. Honestly, like I'm more excited. I think you kind of nailed it. Like I'm more excited that Pittsburgh got more help for Aaron Rodgers. Like
yeah.
I think Johnny Smith, I think he's gonna do well.
Yeah, he definitely
But
could. He definitely could do
yeah,
well. Um,
I I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm just gonna go let the dog out because it's a puppy, but I'm still here and I'm still talking to you.
hey,
So
listen,
give me 2
I'm gonna dive in first. Then we'll go ahead and start. I'll do the nice
oh,
little preview on your Patriots here. Okay.
I'm gonna miss. No,
Yeah,
do,
no,
just
no.
do another team. I'm coming back for the Patriots because
Okay. All
I've
right.
got a pick.
We'll start with the lovely New York Jets. So, the Jets last year they finished third in the AFC East at 5-12. They get a new coach this year in Aaron Glenn, a new quarterback as well in Justin Fields. So, first time pairing these two together. But the Jets felt good enough about Fields, obviously, to end Aaron Rodgers' experience there and pursue him as their starter. So they must have seen enough in him to be able to throw a nice bag at him, which they didn't pay top tier, which is nice. But they did pay him a decent amount to be able to come in and lead this team. So there weren't a ton of moves made in free agency by the Jets in the offseason. They did have a few guys move on, which is okay, but it looks like they did exercise fifth-year options on Garrett Wilson as well as Sauce Gardner, which they definitely need to do. Also with the draft, now listen, they added some good talent through this draft. Membu out of Missouri definitely should translate very well as a right tackle for them, and I think it's not going to be long until he really shows that he can be very dominant at the point. So him and obviously their other left tackle, there's a lot that's going to be asked out of them this year, having to be able to not only block, and this isn't for a guy that stands still, but be able to block, run block and pass block and block on the move for a guy that's very mobile at the quarterback position. So I also really liked the pick of Malachi Moore out of Alabama, and I think he's going to find his way into this defense and carve out some playing time with them for sure. Really like the things that I was able to see out of him at college, and I think he brings a very interesting aspect to this team. Uh, Listen, Mason Taylor, he's going to provide Fields an immediate upgrade at tight end. We remember towards the end of his Bears campaign, he actually did quite well with Cole Kmet there through the end of the season. And now Mason Taylor provides him a very solid young playmaker that's kind of an intermediate option in terms of the routes. So I think if this team does something to other than try to run the ball every down, though, I think they're making a mistake. Just with the option of what they have with Fields and Brees Hall, I just think they're going to be able to dominate. They'll be able to dominate the clock running the ball. I think if they start to throw and try to do too much of that, it's going to end up really bad. And this is the sad part of the New York Jets and kind of the state that they're in right now is Garrett Wilson's talent. It looks like it's just going to be wasted for another year.
I know.
I just,
It's so is like how many quarterbacks has he played with at this point?
dude, at this
Like
point,
it's so
it's so frustrating. And you see glimpses of this guy where you're like, oh, this guy's a baller. Like, he's definitely going to be very good. And he's getting it done with lesser quarterback play. I want to see this guy get like an all pro quarterback throwing him the ball. You know, I think he could be very impressive and take over a game doing that. But like I mentioned, I just expect this team to really pound the ball a lot with Brees Hall. They're going to play better defense than they did last year. Aaron Glenn being there is going to make sure of that. But it bodes kind of well for them when you think of it because they do have one of the easier schedules this year. They do have a grueling start to the season. I think someone really didn't like them. They're playing 4 playoff teams in the first 6 games, which realistically we could be looking at them starting 1-5. So after the
yeah.
bye, it gets a little bit easier for them, but I still think this team is going to struggle quite a bit this year. Um, and I have them finish in 4th place in the division. I think they're going to be 5-12 this year. So I think it's going to
Oh,
be
I
a rough year
I
for the
actually
Jets.
I think they're going to finish third in the division.
Third, okay.
Yeah, respectfully to my Patriots, the Patriots are going to finish fourth this year, and we all know
Ah,
that.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, we're gonna get
yeah,
to them right here in a minute. What do you? How many
yeah.
games do you think they're gonna win this year?
I think they're going to go 6-11.
6-11. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I think that hard start's going to really doom them, and then I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get pissy like Aaron Rodgers does,
Yeah.
and then all bets are off.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a typical New York Jets team where they start to play better towards the end of the year because again, they're playing a lot of tough games at the beginning. Even if they go 2-4, I feel like it's a win at that point for them. But to win for people expecting them to go 5-1 over that stretch, I don't know if that's going to happen. But I feel like it's going to be typical New York Jets where every year towards the end of the year they start playing well. Their fans start to get this promise like, oh yeah, next year is going to be it. And I don't know if that's going to happen with this team. I wish Aaron Glenn better luck, but I don't like the landing spot for him. I wish he could have gone somewhere else. I thought he would have fit real well in a place like New Orleans, but that's
Yeah,
okay. That's all right. I wish him the best of luck. We hope he does well.
I just never trusted the Jet. Like you, I heard you say earlier, you were like, yeah, the Jets should just really pound the rock and run the ball.
Mhm.
I never trust the Jets to do the right thing. I just
Yeah.
don't.
Yep.
Like, and with Fields, like, and this is no offense to Aaron Glenn, but I don't know how do I want to choose my words here. It's no offense to Aaron Glenn, but like Mike Tomlin's a really seasoned head coach
Hmm.
and got probably the best you're ever gonna see from him. And like I worry with Glenn being a first year coach. I don't know. I worry about it a little bit with him. So
Yeah. I don't know. We're gonna get we'll definitely find out within the next few weeks here, but uh,
yeah,
talk out of at least the preliminary camps is very good about him, and
yeah.
just
And
that he
I
looks
hope
very
he
good.
figures it out. I hope he does because like when it's working for him, he is exciting to watch.
Yeah,
Like
he's very
he's not
dynamic. Hmm.
Lamar Jackson fast, but he's on that tier just a shade below him.
Hmm.
Like he's fast. So
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun to watch. All right, let's move on. We got your Patriots, right? And last year They finished fourth
Yep.
in the AFC East. 4-13 could have finished worse, but didn't want to.
Tried. We tried so hard, but here we are.
Yeah. But they obviously bring in the new coach, Mike Vrabel. They were very, very active in free agency this year. Reminded me almost like mid Brady era, where they went out and spent a bunch of money in the offseason, and you never see that out of them. But
Yeah.
you got the addition of Stephon Diggs, Pink Boat Boy,
Yeah.
addition of yeah Harold Landy the third, which he gets reunited with Vrabel, which is really good, I think, for New England because now Vrabel's got a guy that he feels like is a coach on the field that can handle that kind of quarterbacking for the defense.
With Landry, the signing, he's a fine player,
Hmm.
but what you're getting from him is an adult in the locker room.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly
sometimes
what
you
you're
need
getting.
that.
Yeah, yeah, because this is a really young team,
Hmm.
and they kind of need dudes. And it's kind of the same way with Milton Williams, where and Carlton Davis, where Milton Williams has won a ring. He
Yeah,
knows what it takes, and he can have that experience. Harold Landry has been to an AFC title game. He
yeah.
knows what it takes to go deep into the playoffs. And I think that kind of experience, sometimes you have to overpay for that, but I think that's a valuable experience for young teams to get better.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, you need to have those guys to kind of bridge the gap with these young players, right? And be able to show them like, hey, this is the way you do things. And I think a lot of their signings really point to that, right?
yeah,
I mean, Milton Williams, obviously, they paid him to be an ultra disruptor on this defense. So let's see what
yeah,
he's able to do. They bring in, obviously, Robert Spillane, who I think is a good, serviceable, tough nosed linebacker out of Vegas last year. He was pretty awesome. And then just look at the way the offense has improved, right? They get Will Campbell on day one in the draft. They went out and
Woo!
signed Morgan Moses, who's just a refrigerator of an offensive tackle. So they're saying, like, listen, we're committed to protecting Drake May, right? And then
Yeah,
they bring in Garrett Bradbury, which, listen, it's an under the radar signing because it's a center. But having an experienced center to anchor your offensive line is just invaluable. It really is. So
yeah,
I really think too, like Travion Henderson, he's just going to be awesome in this offense. People said like, oh yeah, he's going to spell off Ramondre Stevenson, but I just don't see that happening. Right? I
no,
just don't. I think it's going to be not long past halfway in the season when Henderson really takes his stride, and you're looking at 20 plus carries a game out of this guy.
yeah,
I don't think they need to keep him there, and I see him more of like a Jameer Gibbs in this offense. He's thicker
yeah. I
than
think
that, but I think it could. He's got that touchdown potential where he could take it to the house. So,
yeah, and
um,
he has shockingly good hands, for as a pass catcher,
yeah,
that can catch it out of the backfield, and I think that's something we sorely lacked last year. That and to be honest with you, our play calling was so abysmal.
yeah.
I just felt like first down, run it -2 yards. Second down, usually maybe they'll get a 3 yard completion or an incomplete pass.
Hmm.
Third down, always a screen pass. Always a screen pass, baby. That went
Yeah,
nowhere.
which is just unfortunate, right? You want to see some like creativity from your offensive coordinator in ways to be able to push the ball down the field and get the ball over the white line, right?
Yeah,
I also one guy I wanted to mention too, Kyle Williams, who I think benefits from a lot of this Stephon Diggs noise. I think he's coming in. He's already seeing a lot of work with the first team. I think it could be really beneficial for him to slot in and possibly snag a starting spot on this offense. Which is just, let's be serious. Like if he's, regardless of whether he's making the starters or not, all of this is better for Drake May. All of it. Right,
yeah,
like it. Okay, so he didn't say Williams doesn't make the first team because there's someone better in front of him. Well, that's better for Drake May, anyways, right? So it's just compounding all of
right.
this good stuff for Drake May, and I think he's going to need it because there are massive expectations of him this year compared to
Yeah,
last year. Um,
which is silly, respectfully. I know everybody. This team has unreasonably high expectations because they have the easiest schedule in the league this year.
yep.
What I want to see from him, I don't want us making the playoffs. Like I really don't. Like I don't want us going 1-16. Like I think we're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see us competitive in games this year. And you saw bits of that last year with Drake May. And the thing that I want to see from him this year, uh, I just want to see that like he is making good decisions. He's not taking as many hits.
Yeah.
Because I will say sometimes he held onto the ball a little too long, and I think that's a rookie thing. I think a lot of that's a rookie thing. A lot of that was we have the worst offensive line in the league by a mile. So, yeah, for me, I just want to see if he can, get the ball out a little quicker, making good decisions, and like not taking as many hits. Drake May doesn't always slide,
Yeah.
and
He's
that's
very Josh
concerning to me.
Allen-esque when it's
Yeah, yeah, that's concerning to me.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I think for me, like a best case scenario, I would be okay. I would be okay if we had six. We got 6 wins this year. If we went 6-11, honestly, I think I would be okay with that. And to be honest with you, I would really like one more kind of like top 5 draft pick in a
Mm-hmm.
perfect world, and then I think we can really start to ratchet up those expectations.
Well, I'll get to my prediction here in just a minute. Just
Yeah,
a few things that I wanted to mention defensively for them, right? Like, because I loved all the stuff that you said about Drake May, and I believe in all of it. I really think that he's going to do well this year. I understand the not wanting them to succeed too much because you want to be able to build that young core unit and make it a little stronger before you put that full presentation on for everybody.
yeah,
But I think they're actually going to do better than you think this year. Especially having the easy one of the easier schedules really helps them. They don't really face tough back to back games until week 15 and 16 where they play Buffalo and Baltimore. Um, I still think again they're a year or two away at least, but I have them finishing in this division in second place with seven
that's
wins.
bananas.
Seven
That is
wins. And
bananas.
listen, I'm gonna tell you, this is what's gonna happen. We already talked about the Jets, right? Finishing in I have them finishing fourth with 5 wins. This division is going to be one of the worst in football this year. But I think they can rise to close to the top uh, with what they have.
I will. I'll give you. Here's my hot take prediction. I think with Vrabel coaching them, I think Vrabel's going to talk to them a lot about how Buffalo just routinely beats the shit out of them,
Ah.
routinely. And I think one of those wins is going to be against Buffalo this year. I think he's going to get them so gassed up for a Buffalo game.
I think they're going to do much better than you think. And it's like, this is the thing. Like, teams are not gonna they're gonna be like, oh, it's the Patriots and stuff, and it's the new Patriots, man. It's not how they were last year or the year before. Like, this
Yeah,
is a team with some serious juice now. um
yeah.
or at least they're building that, and I expect them to be not good. I have them finishing at 7-10, but that's good enough for second in this division, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
What do you how many games do you have them winning this year?
I think I think realistically, I think 6 is a good number.
Okay.
So I think 6-11. I think for me is yeah. I think that they're the thing that does worry me about this team. I know that we got Stephon Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
2 things worry me about Stephon Diggs. Actually, a lot of things worry me about Stephon Diggs. And just take away what happened this offseason, which alone, I am shocked he didn't get cut.
Yeah.
A shock. I still feel like we don't have a ton of weapons to throw to. And that's my concern on why, like, I think that we can be competitive in games. I don't know if we have the firepower at receiver late in games when it's 3rd and 8 and it's like 4 minutes left in the fourth and you need that third down to extend a drive.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're getting that from.
First down, Drake May.
Respectfully, yeah, first down Drake May where he takes a huge hit
It
for that
takes
9 yard.
header out of bounds. Yeah. Oh man. We shouldn't
God
laugh,
damn
but
it.
he is very physical though. Uh,
I love it and hate it all at the same time.
yeah. It's gonna
So
be interesting. Well, all right. So we got two teams down. We'll hit the Miami Dolphins now, who last year they finished in second in the AFC East at 8-9. So see, you don't have to be even particularly good to win
yeah,
to get second. They're gonna be running it back with almost the same squad, right? Minus the trade the other day. But their real hopes are that Tua doesn't get hurt and the other people don't get injured. But they've
yeah,
they've had a lot of changes going on, man. Armstead, he retired, which is just a big void at left tackle. I know, listen, I know some of these guys say they're going to come in and be able to step up for him, but it's going to be very difficult. Uh, it's very difficult to replicate a guy like Armstead, who was not only a huge left tackle, but he was extremely athletic as well. And guys like
yeah.
him, just there's not too many that really exist. So,
Also from a leadership standpoint,
yeah,
that's hard to replace.
really
Yeah,
difficult. They added Melifonwu out of Detroit, which listen, injury risk, but there's high reward to that, and he
sure.
could definitely ball. And now he's going to be playing aside Fitzpatrick now after that trade, um,
Yeah,
which I think really helps them out a lot. But I don't know, man. Looking through most of the draft sheets for most of the teams, mm, a lot of them made sense to me. A lot of them did. Two in particular didn't. One was Cleveland, to an extent,
yeah,
right, with some of their picks.
yeah,
But Miami was another one, right? And this is the reason they really need help on defense. But it just seems like the one thing really holding them back is offensive line help in this, right? In terms of Armstead retiring, all of that. So they drafted Savannah out of Arizona, and listen, like he's gonna come in at guard day one. I know that's gonna happen, but like the tackle position is very important to address. It's great that you go out and get a guard, but like I don't know.
yeah,
I'm thinking like expert level pass rusher that you could pair with Chop Robinson, or like a big Buffalo left tackle, right? And I use Buffalo, but like a big beef eater, right? You need
yeah,
someone to be able to do that. I just think what Miami did was put a ton of pressure on Patrick Paul and Austin Jackson right now, to kind of figure it out. Uh, because their whole job is like, we got to keep Tua safe. And if we can't keep Tua safe, then we didn't do our job. That's basically
yeah.
it. But all of this kind of leading just to a lot of confusion for me, where I felt like, man, they didn't really know what they wanted in this draft. Um,
Yeah.
but any of your thoughts
Miami,
on it? Mm-hmm.
yeah. So for me, you've heard me. We've talked about this the last couple of years with Miami. If it's a game that really matters, they're not going to win it. They're not,
Yeah.
and especially if it's on the road, they're not going to win it.
And
And if
it's
it's cold weather,
at
forget
the
it.
beginning of
You,
October in Buffalo. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think you're exactly right. They essentially swapped out Jalen Ramsey for Minka Fitzpatrick and lost Johnny Smith. Like, if you
Yeah.
really want to kind of break it down, I I actually kind of think they're gonna. I think they're honestly gonna. I think they're gonna finish second in this division. I think that yeah, I just so much of this is contingent on Tua not getting hurt, and I don't trust that because more times than not he gets hurt.
Yeah.
And I think what we got to talk about as well is like if they have another kind of weirdly bad season, Mike McDaniel might get fired. He
I was
might.
I was gonna ask you about that if he's on the hot seat or not, because it seems like, okay, you had a high powered offense when Tua was healthy, did nothing in the playoffs. Like, what's gonna happen now? Like, this system has to work. And I think he's a good coach. I like him. But
Yeah,
I don't want to see him get fired. But at some point they got to get it figured out. Now last year Tyreek Hill was hurt most of the season with the wrist injury, right? He even came
yeah.
out and admitted many times like it affected his gameplay. But they've had an off season to rest up. You gotta put out a good product this year.
That's the thing is offensively, if they're all healthy, they're one of the best offenses in the league.
Easily,
Because like Waddle and, and
easily, yeah,
Waddle and Tyreek, like
yeah, and
and Mostert at running,
and
and just the
Achan,
running backs they have. Yeah.
Achan, Mostert's not there anymore, but
Oh
Achan
right,
is just
it's
a
Achan now, but
stud, man. Like he's so
yeah,
good. Um,
Any chance the guy somebody's going to pick up in fantasy one week, he's going to score 4 touchdowns, and it's the reason you're going to lose somehow, and you're going to be so mad about it.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well,
I
they're
can
not.
already feel it.
He's right now, I think, and I have to check, but right now, like he's an arguable first round pick. Like he has that much upside to
Yeah.
him, which is crazy. But I just kind of your expectations for this team because, like, as I looked at the schedule, man, they have 2 real tough 3-game stretches this season. The first it goes weeks 9 through 11 where they play Baltimore, Buffalo, Washington. But all of those are home games, by the way. So
Mhm.
benefit to that. But then they get a few weeks off, and then week 15, 16, and 17, they play Pittsburgh, Cincy, and Tampa Bay. The only time they go on the road is when they go to Pittsburgh for that, which is
Yeah.
not going to be good in week 15. We know it's going to be cold there. But,
Yeah.
like, those are 6 potential losses. I don't think they're better than any of those teams right now.
I think that. Well, I think that Cincy game's going to be a track meet because, respectfully, I don't think either defense is going to be that great.
Yeah. Is Hendrickson on the team or is he not?
Probably Cincinnati will fuck it up somehow. It's probably
Yeah.
not. Yeah, I think they're gonna. I really think they're just gonna get the same record as last year. I do because I think there are going to be weeks offensively where they are just lights out,
Yeah.
and you can't. And when they're humming, they're humming. But again, any big game that they need, I just don't see them winning.
Yeah, you don't have confidence in them. Yeah, so
I don't. I could see them like in that 6-game stretch you were talking about. Realistically, I could see them beating Washington and Cincinnati out of those. I could.
okay.
I
Yeah,
could.
it's funny. I have them in third place winning 7 games, which is the same games that the Patriots I have them winning this year, but I think they're going to lose to the Patriots this year and have common opponents as well where that they weren't able to beat. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we will see, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing
I think they're gonna. I
yeah,
think they're gonna go 8-9 and finish
yeah.
second in the division.
Yeah, I'm guessing for both of us we both have the same team winning this division, so we don't have to
Yeah.
argue about it a
Yeah.
ton.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's just be serious right now, right? The Bills are going to win this division, but last year obviously they won it. They finished first in the AFC East, 13-4, but they lost in the AFC Championship game to Kansas City, and they're still looking to kind of get over that hump. They had some departures in the offseason with Amari Cooper, Von Miller leaving. There's a chance Miller could come back, but probably not with them signing Joey Bosa. And Ogunjobi, I just think provides like a ton of depth to them behind Ed Oliver there. I just think they need him. And they added, if you look at the draft, like they added some good talent, right? A good corner, and Hairston out of Kentucky should pair very nicely with Christian Benford there. But I don't know. My favorite pick for them this year was Landon Jackson out of Arkansas, who is just,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just one injury on this defense away from really showcasing talent.
Yep.
And the unfortunate part is guys like Matt Milano have gotten hurt in years past. When you play in the cold, there's a good chance you could get hurt.
Yep.
And I mean, the Bills training staff tries to do what they can, but like this team just year in year out seems to get banged up. So, but that was kind of my take on them from the draft. I mean, they're running back basically the same offensive line, which was very effective running the ball last year with James Cook. He's still in the contract dispute right now, which people aren't really talking about, but hopefully it's going to get resolved soon. I just think this year for them, getting key defensive stops and pressure on those opposing quarterbacks is that's going to be the challenge for them.
Yeah. I think that, look, there are certain quarterbacks in this league that if you have them on your team and they stay healthy all year, you can just kind of pencil them in for 12 wins. Having watched Tom Brady for 20 years, you could just kind of pencil them in for 12 wins and just kind of figure it out from there. And that's kind of what Josh Allen is at this point.
Yeah.
Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are the 2 guys in this league. Just pencil them in for 12 wins.
Yeah.
12 wins, probably going to win the division. Don't overthink it. If something catastrophic happens, maybe that changes, but if not,
yeah, that's how it's going to be. They're favored in every single game they're playing this year.
Oh yeah.
which is kind of crazy when you think about it. They have one tough stretch where they go weeks 9 through 14. They play home against Kansas City, at Miami, Tampa Bay, at Houston, at Pittsburgh, and then Cincinnati. Which I don't know. Like you said, like having Josh Allen on your team means a couple things, right? It means you've got a potential MVP candidate, a potential offensive player of the year, a guy that's just going to put up stats, drive your offense down the field. But there's a chance they could go undefeated in this division, based on how
Sure.
bad some of these teams are. And then all they need is 7 wins elsewhere, and that puts them at 13 for me. So I have them finishing in first, winning this division, 13 games, which I think is very doable for them. So
Yeah, I have them winning 13 as well.
ah
I think that with Kansas City, I think I'm curious to see what they look like, and when we get to that team preview, I think that's going to be the one you and I have some debates on because
yeah,
that team regressed in a huge way.
big way.
Um, I really think that they could run the table this year again, and I think you and I are going to agree on this. The same problem that I had with New England is what I have with Buffalo, whereas their wide receivers, somebody's got to step up because they don't really have a wide receiver one on that team.
They
Don't.
just don't, and I think that's the biggest issue, man. And that's
I think they thought that Keon Coleman was going to be that guy, and
yep,
I think he could be that guy.
yep,
He wasn't last year. He was a rookie. I get it. He got hurt. He got nicked here and there, and it just wasn't yet.
yeah. They definitely need that because Allen's got a guy like he's got the arm that he could make 1,000-yard receiver in his sleep, but they need a guy that's a bona fide number one that when the game's on the line they can go to him, and they don't have that right now, or
Yeah,
not with tremendous consistency. So
yeah. Like I said, you need when it's 3rd and 8 in the 4th quarter, and you're driving for the game-winning score. Who's going to get you that? Who's going to run that 9-yard slant and get you that 9 yards? I
yeah,
don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know with Buffalo, and that does worry me a little bit. And it kind of was their kryptonite last year in the second half against Kansas City
definitely
in that playoff
was,
game.
definitely was. Yeah, I think Sean McDermott's going to find a way to get the most out of this roster. He always does. I really like him as a coach. I think they're going
Yeah,
to continue to have success as long as the GM, the front office, the head coach, and the quarterback are all aligned.
yeah,
It's proven that way with the Patriots for a number of years, with the Colts, teams that teams that have a lot of success. You got to have that type of equilibrium between them.
I agree.
But anything else you wanted to mention about them before we wrap up?
No, I think that I don't think they're going to go undefeated in the division. I think they're gonna. I think the Patriots are going to get them once this year.
Gonna get them.
And that's kind of wishful thinking, but again, like I said, I think Vrabel's going to gas them up so much.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like really, this is their conference to win.
Yeah.
It it,
Yep.
it really is. It like if you look at the other teams that are favored to win the division, they should be able to beat all of them. Keyword
Absolutely,
is
they
should.
should. Yeah.
Keyword should. Again, their kryptonite is a guy named Patrick Mahomes. It is like,
Seems to happen that way, right?
yeah, he's a lot of teams' kryptonite in the playoffs.
Yeah, it
So
happens that way, right? He
yeah,
just
sure
gets them.
does. Sure
Uh,
does.
well, I think that wraps it up for today. Next week, we're going to go through more baseball coverage, but we'll have the AFC North and kind of breaking down those teams as well. But let us know what you like. Let us know what you think we missed, which is obviously nothing. But
Yeah.
let us know if you have anything else about one of those teams that you think is important in the offseason that happened that could dictate how this division is going to play out. But until next week, where we dive in more, and we're getting very close to the All-Star break here too. So
Yes, sir. Home run
uh,
derby, baby.
we're gonna have some fun with that. But without further ado, Al, it's been a real one, man.
Yeah, Jay, I love you as always.
Huh.
And you're coming home in a few weeks, and
Yeah,
I am excited. Let's go.
yeah.
Let's go.
I love you too, bud. You take care. Have a good rest of the day.
You too, man. Peace.
Peace.